Hey there, welcome to my channel. Today we're diving into the hilarious tales of Old My and his up-and-coming son Pius. Old My immediately shook his head and said, "No way for my son." Even though the boss thought Old My was being a bit harsh, he insisted on introducing clients to Pius. Coincidentally, Pius picked up the phone and instantly perked up. "Clients, count me in." Old My thought, what a pleasant surprise. He planned to take this opportunity to remind his son that his wife shouldn't have to cook for him anymore. He planned to eat at the temple, but Pius didn't even think twice and headed straight to the bar to find Jody. The bar owner was furious, rushed to Dad about Jody's act. Dad said, "Temple fair today," and took Jody away. Pius was feeling witty and stopped the bar from diving into a theory, saying, "Company folks are going to the temple too. Let's discuss later." The next day, as Old My stepped out, he heard people gossiping about Jody's romance. He thought about the teacher's reputation and decided to step in. The crowd said the rumor was spread by Pius. Old My felt awkward, guilty passing the teacher's house. When Old My returned from work, he heard the teacher died of a sudden heart attack and, with mixed emotions, attended the funeral. He couldn't help but link the teacher's death with the morning gossip, feeling guilt that he could hardly contain. Pius, however, didn't care much about that. After borrowing 300,000 rupees, he finally found good due to bargain. "I've been busy fulfilling the needs of 5 folks since last week. Business still hasn't picked up, and here I am. One thing," Coogee said casually, "pay 40,000 rent, and you'll get a city hall job." Pius was tempted. Old My stormed in with a 2,000 rupee electricity bill, found Pius unresponsive, and decided to just cut off the power. Pius noticed the blackout and rushed out with a flashlight. Old My asked, "Why haven't you paid the bill?" Pius, exhausted, could only say, "I'll report all the electricity expenses next month." Old My was taken aback, muttering something about curses, but the next day, Pius took the initiative to cook. Everyone raved about his cooking, and after dinner, Pius got ready to fix his motorcycle, but Old My dropped a headline on him. At this time, Old My had a major scoop for Pius, something that could connect him with a few friends. A few pals filed a report at the police station, and with the huge amount of money involved, Pius, cracking under pressure, recounted his whole collection saga. Subsequently, Pius' drama went public, and Old My wasn't buying into his son's foolishness, advising his wife to sell off their stuff. A lot of money wasn't even close to covering the debts, and Pius fixated in the house, prompting Old My to want to smack him right there. Old My hoped his son would take responsibility for his mistakes and thus flat out rejected his plea. But Pius just wanted his dad to rescue him, not understanding Old Miss Cold Heart. The school sadly expressed their condolences for the teacher's passing and directly offered the bar a job. Ironically, the bar had a lower degree than Pius but scored the job Pius wanted, purely by luck. Pius felt the sky was falling and couldn't empathize with the bar, feeling utterly hopeless about life. He was so bummed out that he didn't even want to talk to the teacher. Of course, he just didn't feel like talking to the teacher anymore and sunk deeper into his gloom. Pius felt as if the world was ending and casually mentioned to his family back home about the bar losing his dad. The family shook their heads, pointing out that Pius' situation was nothing like the bar since their dad was a well-respected figure. Deep down, Pius thought if only his father were to pass, he'd get his job, and a dreadful plan brewed in his mind. He couldn't help but ponder, going through the details, solidifying that dreadful thought. That's the moment when he foresaw the future of the children, causing his resolve to waver. After all, Old My didn't have long left to live. Following a joint discussion and planning session with his wife, Pius made up his mind to have a talk with his father. Yet, he struggled to voice it, talking about wanting his dad to die was simply unbearable. So he kept trying to inform Old My about his inaction, envisioning beautiful life as a civil servant for Pius. Pius finally warmed up to the idea. When Old My got home and saw the 4 of them in a meeting, he became increasingly negative about it. Nevertheless, Old Miss' initial decision of disapproval underwent a complete transformation due to an unexpected incident that occurred suddenly. The government's failure to provide adequate attention and care for the elderly inadvertently resulted in numerous young people facing unemployment and descending into profound despair. Old Mai personally witnessed a young man resorting to an extreme measure in an attempt to resolve the difficult situation he found himself in. Subtitles: He was utterly terrified, as if he caught sight of his son's silhouette, and suddenly came to the realization that he had made a grave mistake by driving Pius away. Subtitles: Thus, Old Mai made the decision to call his son back home in order to have a rediscussion on the plan for repaying the debt. However, upon their discussion, Pius put forward the requirement of buying a house to clear the debts, leaving Old Mai with no alternative but to agree. Everyone knew that Pius got the job because his father died, not because he had to find one, which was painful. Subtitles: Old Mai was torn inside, unable to make a choice, so he could only ask, "Do you truly want to proceed with this?" Pius unabashedly replied, "I just want to change things." Old Mai sighed and said, "All right then, let's work together." After that, Old Mai put the house on the line and managed to fill the 300,000 rupee gap. Later on, Pius bought a bunch of scary movies that had supposedly terrified 100 Americans and cranked up the air conditioning at night for a little ambience. The Pius family had an exceptionally cozy night, but Old Mai didn't expect things to take a turn the next morning. Out of the blue, a tragedy suddenly unfolded as Pius brought in a snake with the intention of falsely attributing blame to himself, which left Old Mai in a state of absolute panic. Pius even thought to make Old Mai pretend to fall to stage an accident, while Old Mai just stood there cluelessly. The father and son waited patiently until a train finally crawled by, attracting a curious crowd in the neighborhood. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more hilarious stories coming your way.